right, we're going to get started, so if everyone in the lobby could come in, we'll start in the next minute or so. All right, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight to September's Community Information Meeting. My name is Valerie Redman. I'm with Blue Flamingo Marketing. We are the town's communication consultants. That is Lindsay Steinberg right there. And Kate Brattin is also up doing the PowerPoint. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask us after the presentation tonight. We're happy to help you. So for those of you who were here last month, we have a slight change to format, so basically it's the same. What we have changed is there are little slips that some of you were probably given or offered out in the lobby. If you have a general question, so a general question, not site specific, we ask you that you fill that out and bring that up to Lindsay up here on the stage. What we're going to do is sort them out, the most popular questions we're going to ask. We're probably not going to have time. We have 17 agencies here that have kindly given their time to report out. Our goal is to have everyone out by 8 p.m. So whatever time we have, we will ask the questions, and obviously they will then answer them. Any questions that do not get answered tonight, we will get the answers for you and post them on the makeitparadise.org website under the frequently asked questions. Okay? Otherwise, what we will have now is, again, each agency will spend 3 to 5 minutes providing you with an update, and we ask that you not ask questions during that time, just so that we can get through everyone. And if you, afterwards, each agency has a table out in the lobby. Feel free to go to them at that point and ask them any specific questions that you have. So we'll start off tonight with the Town of Paradise Town Manager, Lauren Gill.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming out again. This is a fun way to get a lot of information from a lot of agencies. I want to thank all the agencies for coming out. This is a great way to, again, connect with our residents and talk to people and let y'all know what's going on. For everyone who's been involved in the campfire. So here we go. The Town of Paradise hired a new recovery manager. She will be here. She's been on our staff now for about a week. She hit the ground running. Her name is Laura Page. Some of you might know her. She used to work for Congressman LaMalfa. She is fabulous. She will be working on our long-term recovery projects, all of those projects that were included in our community vision and our long-term recovery plan. She will also be working on getting grants for the community, and she is a game changer. We're so happy to have her on our staff. I will be working with more of the agency-led projects in town, so I'll be, again, working with the other agencies in town on projects, and also just good old-fashioned town stuff. One of the questions that I get asked most frequently is about standing burnt trees, and I am going to leave that to FEMA, Cal OES. They will talk about that later, but the standing burnt trees are an issue, as you know, in our town. If you have a tree that you think is going to fall down immediately, please take care of it with a licensed contractor. If not, we are working on a program. Standing homes, we just want to let those of you who have standing homes and are living up here in town that we're here for you as well, and we want to know your questions, your needs. So please call us, Town Hall, put your questions on makeitparadise.org. We do want to hear from you and make sure that we're meeting your needs. One of the things that we're working on right now is abatement of the properties that have not opted into the state program or the private program for debris removal. So we have a few less than 100 now properties that need to be abated. So what we've done is we sent courtesy notices, and this is after working with them for many months and calling them. We sent courtesy notices. We will send a notice of violation, and if they don't respond to that, we will go to court, get permission to go on the property and clear the property of the debris. We need to get all of that hazardous material out of town, so we will do that. We did receive the keys for the brick building today. The brick is the Bank of America building that was donated to the town of Paradise, and that will be for our building resiliency or building recovery center. And so what we'll have is a one-stop shop for all of the building needs, rebuilding needs in town. And we can't wait to get that up and running very soon. Right now, we're cramped in the back hallway into Town Hall, if any of you have gone in to get your permits, but we will be working on a nice building for you. With that, we are on track, we think, for by the end of the year to have 500 building permits issued, which is big. Right now we have about 300. We have over 100 in plan check, and 186 have been issued. We are open Fridays all day. And I know that if you call the town's line, it still says we're closed on Friday. We'll change that. We are open on Friday from 8 in the morning until 5 in the evening, just like every day, so that's good. Monday through Friday. We have ambulance service. That's another question we get asked. We do have an ambulance service on the Ridge. We have police, we have fire. If you have issues, do not hesitate to call. We are here to help and to serve you. So with that, I will sit down. I don't think I went over my required time. Who's the next person up? Chief, Acting Police Chief.
Good evening. Chief Reinbold is not able to be here tonight, so I'm Lieutenant Borgman. I'll be standing in for him. Just real quick, as the town manager mentioned, yes, we are still here. Give us a call. We're happy to help. But we are trying to kind of work with the community to help you help us. And some of you may have heard of the Zone Captain program. People in the community have volunteered to kind of take the lead and really kind of a neighborhood watch approach for the evacuation zones that we already have, is how they have it broken down. So I would encourage you to get to know who your zone captain is, reach out to them, keep in touch with them. They can help you keep track of what's going on in your neighborhood where you're living or where your property is, and help you stay informed of things that are going on. And they've also done some community building within the zones to get-togethers, barbecues, that kind of thing. So they've been great as far as the community side of things, and they also know how to get a hold of us and have direct relationships with us to help you keep track of stuff as things go. Neighbors also, just outside of the zone captains, we just ask that you guys work with each other, keep an eye out for each other. Those of you who are able to live up here, whether in your home or in temporary residence, know your neighbors. Keep your eyes out. Have them keep your eyes out, their eyes out for you. And if you see stuff going on that seems odd or unusual or out of place or suspicious, again, give us a call. And if our guys are out driving around, don't hesitate to flag them down and just say hi and introduce yourself. And our goal as this process goes on is to not only rebuild the community physically, but rebuild the community, the relationships, and we feel fortunate that we're going to have the opportunity to get to know each and every one of you a lot better than we necessarily had the opportunity to before. Although you got to help us by keeping an eye out for each other, also help us by locking your stuff down, locking your cars, locking your homes and storage buildings. There have been some thefts, definitely not as many cases of theft as there was before the fire. I don't have the exact statistics, but as a rate of theft per population, I would say it's lower than it was pre-fire as well. However, there still have been a few incidents here and there. So make sure you lock your stuff up. There's ways to set up surveillance systems if you're not able to occupy your property. And there's a variety of systems out there. Some of them can notify you on your cell phone, send you video. In fact, we got a call the other day. Somebody had a system like that, and somebody was attempting to break into their home through the dog door. They got the notice on their phone. They see the video. I don't know that person. That's definitely not my dog. And so they decided to give us a call, and so we were able to help them out. The last thing I'd like to mention is we appreciate the town council and the town and their support for the lateral recruitment incentive that's out there. I was a little late to this meeting today because I was meeting with another lateral candidate that is interested in joining our force. Met with another one yesterday. We're getting ready to start some backgrounds and move forward. So that is having a tremendous positive effect. We're getting response from people that, you know, Paradise is kind of on the map, not necessarily in a great way, but, you know, maybe they're getting tired of the rat race in the Bay Area or wherever they're at, and see the opportunities here that we see and share our vision. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting a couple guys in cars and on the road. After the meeting, I'll be here if you guys have any questions. Thank you very much for caring enough to come.
Hi, I'm actually not Casey Hatcher. My name's Sherry McCracken, and I'm standing in for Casey today. Let's see, I'm going to report on the county's alternative fire debris removal program, and this data is as of last week. We've received 1,658 alternative work plans, and we have approved 1,604 of those. 54 work plans remain in review. And I'm happy to say 1,076 final reports have been submitted to the county, and of those, 1,029 are approved and 47 are continuing through the review process. We do have 52 property owners who submitted applications for the alternative program but have yet to submit work plans. So that's any of you, get your work plans in. We also started a abatement process for properties in the unincorporated area. We've noticed 48 property owners, and they have until September 11th to appeal to County Public Health, and if no appeal comes through, then we will start also, like the town, will go through the court process to get access to the properties, and then the state will actually be cleaning those properties on both the county and the town's behalf. Let's see, building permits. So the county is currently in the Paradise branch of the library. I think it's 3 days a week taking permit applications for anyone up here on the ridge that's in the unincorporated area. To date, inside the burn area, we've received 120 building permit applications. We've issued 47 permits, and one of those has been finalized, so it's ready for occupancy. Outside the burn area, we have 13 permit apps, issued 11 permits, and finalized one home outside the burn area also. I also want to thank the town who's offered us space in the brick once it opens, so we'll co-locate with the town and all our other partners once the brick opens. Let's see, the Rebuild Incentive Grant programs, we've served 34 applicants with funding from the North Valley Community Foundation for a total of $62,929. And we've served 11 applicants, all of them veterans, with funding from the Golden State Finance Authority, and that's for $28,473. Let's see, the latest update on non-congregate shelters shows that Lime Saddle Campground has 38 of the 44 available spaces occupied, so that means some folks have moved on to a more permanent living situation, and DeSabla Campground has 12 of the 13 available spaces. I want to correct some information that you may have heard in the past few weeks that those non-congregate shelters are closing down at the end of August. We actually have approval through October 31st if needed, but we are working with the state and FEMA to evaluate that every month to see if the need is still there. So we are slowly case managing and working with folks staying at those shelters to get them moved on to the next step. I believe that is it. So now I will turn it over to David Samaniego.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm David Samaniego. I'm the Federal Coordinating Officer for FEMA. And so I'll be really brief here in my brief. I'll talk about a couple of things. First, I'll start with housing. We built 4 group sites, one in Gridley, one in Oroville called Rosewood, and 2 in Chico at the Silver Dollar Fairgrounds and the Hegan and Aztec. With those 4 group sites, we have a capacity of nearly 500 mobile homes there. We also have 350 pads located in 19 RV parks throughout Northern California. One RV park is located here in Paradise, and that has 15 families in there as we speak. And I want to touch on what Ms. Gill said about trees. Last week, we received a request from the state, the county, and the city for the removal of standing bird trees. I can't say too much more other than we're in the process of adjudicating that request, and there will be some sort of program. What the details are of that, I cannot say. But I can say that I'm going to maximize all the authorities that I have under this declaration to maximize that effort. If you have any particular questions about your case or trees, we'll be in the back there today with my staff. So you're more than welcome to come see us afterwards. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dina Wilson. I am the Camp Fire Incident Commander for the debris operations on behalf of Cal OES. So today I'm going to give you a brief update on where we are with our debris operations. Currently we have cleared over 10,000 or approximately 10,400 properties that are registered out of the 10,833 that we have registered in our program. And we have returned about 6,191 of those to the county. So we're making tremendous progress. If you want to compare that with other events that have happened in our nation, that's more than 3 million tons of debris that we will get off likely by the end of this month off the ground and return to the county to be returned to the owners. To demonstrate the catastrophic losses from the Camp Fire and the volume of debris removed, post 9/11, during the World Trade Center, debris removed 1.8 million tons of debris in 9 months. We're on track to doing double of that in the same amount of time. So, thank you for that. I will pass that actually on to my crews. It is a tremendous feat, especially given the fact that when we started debris removal at the beginning of this project in February, we were stood down for over 45 days due to weather. So our crews have really stepped up to the plate and try to get property owners back on their property sooner rather than later. So they should definitely be proud of their achievements, and we certainly are proud of them. This has actually also been recognized nationally and internationally. We've actually had some of our partners from other states and countries like Australia, which we have a memo of understanding with, to come and look at how we do our debris removal operations to see where they could do best practices where they're at, and they've been very impressed by what we've been able to accomplish. So that's worth recognizing, but of course we could not do that without the cooperation of everyone here on our town, county, and federal partners. So it's really a team effort. So that's all I have for the updates on debris removal. If you have any specific questions regarding your property, we will be here at the end of this presentation in the back in order to help you.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Phillips. I'm the district manager for Paradise Irrigation District. Again, I'm going to say thank you to everybody for the patience with us through this process. It's a ever-changing landscape out there, and we're trying to keep up with all the ebbs and flows of what we run into. Currently, we have issued 306 letters of potability to property owners. 48 of those is service line replacements. So what we do is when we find and we go to a standing home that has a contaminant level over the MCL for drinking water standards, we're just replacing the line automatically. So 48 of those 306 is service line replacements, which means our crews are out there replacing that line, which is a full day's work. So there's quite a bit of work that goes along with that.
We have about 40 different addresses that are in the hopper right now for review, so we're hoping to get another 40 of those letters out here in the next week. Interim water, which I know a lot of people have been frustrated with. We have ramped up the crews to focus on that, so we went out and hired 6 full-time employees. Alliance for Workforce Development has sent us up 11 employees to help with that. So we're hoping to get at least 20 to 30 of those a day installed. Right now we have 444 that have been installed. We have 367 left. So we're hoping that we're going to catch up in the next couple weeks so that we can continue to move forward as people come in, that there's not such a long delay on getting that water onto your property. We understand that that is a big, big need, especially during the summer, and we're trying to get that done as quickly as possible. We are going to have a public meeting on September 16th to go over a lot of the details of the recovery plan. At that time, you'll get a lot more information about statistics and about how many properties have been tested and what those tests have come into. And during that meeting also, Gina Solomon from the University of California, San Francisco has received a grant to come into town to help individuals living in their home test their indoor plumbing. She will be at that meeting that will give a presentation of what her process will be, and then there'll be a time at that meeting to sign up for testing internally for internal plumbing. So there is help coming from the academic world out there to help with the indoor plumbing testing going forward. I, again, will be in the back to answer any questions, and that's our update.
Good evening, I'm Dan Blair with PG&E. Just a couple of quick updates, and then I'm actually going to show a video that PG&E recently put together on temporary power and the process to obtain that. So as you've seen throughout town, and as you're coming up the Skyway, we've begun our underground process to fulfill our commitment to put the town, as we rebuild all the distribution lines underground. And as that process continues, we've received over 1,400 applications for temporary power. So as construction continues on your property, or also for potentially for temporary or trailer living on your property, we have the process for obtaining temporary power. So I'm going to let our video play, and I'll sit down so I don't block anybody, because I think this is a helpful process as folks rebuild and as that process continues. And if you have any follow-up questions, we'll be out there in the lobby to answer any.
At PG&E, we are committed to helping our customers throughout the rebuild process. We are here to assist, and we've added resources so we can do so quickly. One of the first steps for a customer seeking to rebuild is to apply for temporary electric service. That power can be used throughout construction until the home is ready to take permanent service. For eligible customers impacted by a major natural disaster, PG&E will connect and disconnect temporary electric service at no cost to the customer, as long as that customer previously took PG&E electric service. We understand that when you are rebuilding your home, you have a lot on your mind. At PG&E, we have created a community rebuild team so we can process applications for power from fire victims in a timely manner. Our goal is to ensure that new gas and electric service can get checked off your list quickly.
There are several steps customers need to take to obtain temporary power. Customers can hire contractors to act on their behalf to complete these steps. First, the customer requests a permit for temporary power from the city or county building department. Some jurisdictions require certain conditions be met before temporary or permanent power can be established, such as fire debris removal or water availability. Check with the jurisdiction on requirements for getting a temporary power permit. Fees may be payable to the city or county. The customer then submits an application with PG&E for a potential or confirmed site by either calling or applying online. You can apply while the permit from the city or county is pending. If you have been affected by a natural disaster, such as a qualifying wildfire, please indicate that on the application by using the drop-down option so the application can be routed to PG&E's Community Rebuild Team. The customer or designated representative, such as a contractor, provides PG&E with a site address and contact information. Site plans, electric load information, and electric panel size can be provided at this step or the next if for temporary power. After the application is submitted to PG&E, a PG&E job representative will be assigned who will schedule a site visit with the customer representative listed to review field conditions, project scope, expectations, and timing. Be sure to call 811 at least 2 business days before you plan to dig, and to mark the excavation area with flags or white paint so utilities can mark any underground facilities. After the site visit, if PG&E needs additional information, the PG&E job representative will request it from the customer's representative before initiating the design and engineering of the job. The customer or contractor is responsible for the following items: the purchase and installation of a temporary electric pole or pedestal and a temporary electric panel, acquiring the required permits and inspections, and paying fees to the city or county building department. The purchase and installation of temporary conduit, cable, and installation of conduit cable if facilities are underground. When the customer is ready to receive power, they must request an electric panel inspection from the city or county building department. After the inspector has affixed an inspection sticker to the panel, the customer contacts PG&E. Keep in mind that PG&E cannot provide power without the panel inspection sticker issued by the governing agency. Once the customer's panel has been inspected, PG&E can then schedule your project for construction. Your PG&E job representative will work with you to schedule your project and install an electric meter and provide power. To avoid delays, after temporary power service is established, remember to apply for a permanent electric and/or natural gas service immediately after a building permit has been received by the local jurisdiction. Questions can also be emailed.
I'm not with PG&E. My name is Matt Ball. I'm the manager for Butte County Mosquito and Vector Control, here to provide probably my last update for this mosquito season. West Nile virus is extremely active in the valley. We have found it from our southern borders all the way to our northern borders. Pretty much anywhere on the valley floor right now, West Nile is very active. The good news is we've been 100% successful at keeping West Nile virus out of the burn scar as of today. I can't do it, and thank you guys enough for all the hard work that you guys have done by reporting standing water to my employees and to myself. I encourage you guys to continue to notify us of standing swimming pools, potential septic tanks that you guys notice around, whether the lids have been removed or not. Every one of these septic tanks has pipes that used to feed that on burned out lots. So the more helpful you guys can be to us, the more successful and safer environment for mosquito-borne disease we can keep on the ridge. One thing that will be changing going forward as the rains return, whenever they do return in October and November, a good rule of thumb is when you see this wild grass around here start turning green, that's when the ticks of medical concern can come out. You're going to have a lot of neighboring properties for those of you that still have standing homes up here, or you're semi-permanently living on your lot right now. When you see that vegetation start turning green, starting about Lime Saddle and going all the way up to Sterling City, that's when the ticks that can carry Lyme disease come out. When the grass is yellow, it's a good time to mellow out on ticks. When you start seeing it green up after the first couple rains, start inspecting yourself for ticks. As far as mosquitoes go, just because we haven't found West Nile on the ridge, whether it be Paradise, Magalia, Cherokee, Concow, or in the Butte Creek Canyon, it doesn't mean it's not there. So this is the last month that I'm asking you to be vigilant. Keep reporting standing water to our district staff. Our response time is around 24 to 48 hours or less. So you make a call for mosquito, fish, or report a swimming pool or a pond, we're there pretty darn quick. We take it very seriously. And this is the time of year that you really need to wear your repellent. I have personally found that I am a mosquito magnet. Why I chose mosquitoes for a living, I'll never understand. I'm hot-blooded, I sweat all the time, and I've been told that's why they like me. I used to work in the lab for 8 or 9 years, and anytime you saw the guy's arm in the cage with all the mosquitoes, that was my arm. And I can tell you right now, the only repellent that works on me for anything over an hour is anything that carries DEET. There's been no confirmed studies that have linked DEET to any type of medical concern. I can appreciate everybody's concern. Any repellent that you wear is better than zero repellent. If you wear something like Avon Skin So Soft, it is somewhat effective, but you just have to keep reapplying it. You put something on with DEET, high concentration, the higher the concentration, the longer it will last. And some of this stuff, they've got new formulations out that go on dry. And for those of you that used to rest your arm up on a tractor or an old Chevy and it didn't have air conditioning and the off used to make your paint kind of get sticky or stuff like that, this new dry formulation of these DEET products no longer have that corrosive material as an inert ingredient. So we'll be back there. The fly swatters were popular last time, so I was told I brought green last month. I brought red this month because I'm looking forward to Christmas, so time to get festive. And with that, if you have any questions, please come and see me back there. Yeah, there's a fly swatter right there. So you can use them as a fan or, whip your kid or your dog with them, whatever you want to do. So.
Thank you. Hello, Tom Taylor from Paradise Unified School District, Assistant Superintendent. We'll have a presentation up there in just a moment, but I want to say last time Mrs. John, our superintendent, and myself stood up here, we were showing you pictures of hallways that had massive amounts of furniture and massive amounts of construction work that was going on. Today I get to share about a success story of Paradise Unified School District, and I want to say that it wouldn't have happened without the support of a lot of people back here, probably everybody out here, and of course our community who trusted in us to be able to give the kids a great education. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, and we've kind of had this motto, if you build it, they will come. And this year we've had new painted buildings, we've had new furniture. If you could scroll that up just a moment, I'm sorry. It's not going to, thank you. We've had new painted furniture, we've had updated technology with one-to-one devices for our students. We have additional counselors for all of our schools to help our students who have obviously been impacted by the trauma, as well as our staff. The new, listen to this one, the new PHS gym is going to be built. And we expect that that's going to, and I think Mrs. John and I would both have to give a lot of credit to our other Assistant Superintendent, David McCready, for really pushing that through and sticking with it. So we actually we anticipate that. I hate to put a date on it because sure enough I'll be wrong, but we're looking in the very near future for that. We have lots of community programs and activities. I don't know if anybody made it. Many of you had to have made the football game. So we have our community events going on, and we're looking forward to growing together with our town. So we realize that without a town we don't exist. So we really know that that's a key thing for us. I mentioned earlier that we had the motto, if you build it, they will come, and they definitely did. Really important to us is our daily attendance and how many students we have, obviously. And our Ridgeview High School, we have a couple pictures up here from every one of our schools. Ridgeview, they have their open house and just their beginning of the school year. They had 68 students in attendance. I'll talk about attendance versus enrollment a little bit because that's a real important number for us. At Paradise Junior Senior High School, there on the left is the football game, and on the right, they recognize police officers and our fire department. Our attendance at Paradise High School, now this is Paradise Junior Senior High School now, 712, is 777 students. We also have an online attendance, it's called e-learning, it's 77 students. Cedarwood Elementary, which is our school, the most northern school in our district, it has an attendance of about 250. We have a little student up there. I wish you could see that picture a little clearer. It says first day of school. So Pine Ridge is our next one. Pine Ridge Elementary School. All these, our elementaries now, are TK through 6. Pine Ridge had an attendance of about 171 students. Paradise Ridge Elementary. This is our school that was Ponderosa and Paradise Elementary. They've now combined, and they have had an attendance of about 340, and this is just picking one day last week. So we talk about PUSD. It's real important for us to remember who is Paradise Unified School District. Well, Paradise Unified School District represents the community. We have 130 certificated teachers. We were at about 200, so we've dropped about 70. We have 132 classified staff. And we were at about right at about 200 with them also. So we have reduced about 68 of our classified staff Not that we wanted to, but circumstances made them leave because of the fire. So it's real important that we remember that, now that Paradise Unified is the largest employer of the district, and it's important for us to help in building the community. I was talking earlier, I said I'd talk about the difference between attendance and enrollment. We're paid by attendance every day, about students that show up in seats. So that's real important for a number for us. But when you look at our total enrollment, these are students actually enrolled in our schools, we're at about 1,742. And that is a big number. When the fire first happened, we were told that we would have about 1/3 of our students return. And we thought we might get a little more than 1/3. We thought we might be around 40%. And if you look at that, we had 3,400 prior to the fire, and we're now at 51%. So that is a huge number. And I just want to end by saying once again, that wouldn't have happened without a commitment of our staff, our community, and our families. So we thank you guys very much, and as we said earlier, we look forward to continuing to grow with the community because we know it's going to happen. Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to remain seating. I have a lower back strain and it's pretty painful to stand, so I apologize. My name is Tara Sullivan-Hames. I'm the director of Butte Glen 211. Good evening. I'd like to give you an update on the resources that you can access by contacting the 211 helpline. If you're not familiar with this service, 211 is the starting point and a gateway for individuals and families to get connected to various types of help in our community. The 211 service offers a live 24-hour telephone helpline to connect people in need with free and low-cost services. You can call, text, or go online to learn about these vital resources and to get referrals. We are a local nonprofit organization, and our 211 call center is located in Chico. We serve all residents of Butte and Glen counties and all Camp Fire survivors, no matter where they have relocated. Next slide. Since November 2018, the direction of our efforts in the 211 Center has significantly shifted to address the recovery needs of Camp Fire survivors. We have an extensive database of resources for survivors and can provide information such as the upcoming events for giveaways and community-based celebrations and other recovery events. Basic needs services such as food, gas, propane, water, programs for mental health and wellness, transportation assistance with the Beeline to help survivors access resources, connecting survivors with disaster case management services, and with emerging financial assistance programs as they become available. Next slide. Currently, Butte 211 is providing intake for two important recovery resources: disaster case management and emergency financial assistance. Disaster case management enables an individual or family to provide information about their situation to one resource specialist, a case manager at a local agency, who will serve as their advocate and help them navigate and access resources and implement a recovery plan. To link survivors to case managers, Butte 211 has created the Community Queue. Getting onto this community queue is the way to be assigned a case manager as space becomes available. And this queue can be accessed by calling 211 or through filling out an online intake form. At present, there is a wait list to be assigned a case manager, and this is because the 9 agencies that are providing case management services are already at capacity, and there just are not enough case managers available. Also available through 211 is the Emergency Financial Assistance Program. And this is made available in part by a grant from the Butte Strong Fund and the North Valley Community Foundation. And this program can provide assistance in the categories of food, gas, transportation, rental assistance, or medical bills for income-eligible survivors. It is important to understand that this program does not provide immediate assistance, this financial assistance program. There is an application process and documents are required to verify eligibility. Survivors in need of this financial assistance program can begin the application process by completing the 211 online intake form through the link provided on the screen. I think it's the previous slide. It's bit.ly/211 intake. Or if you have already been connected to a disaster case manager, you can discuss your eligibility for the financial assistance program with your case manager and they can help you apply. If you haven't started that process and you would like to apply for Emergency Financial Assistance Program or to get on the community queue for a disaster case manager, please visit our 211 table later tonight, and Rena, who's back there, will assist you with completing the online intake form. And once again, the online intake form is the first step for applying for the Butte Strong Emergency Financial Assistance Program and for getting assigned to a disaster case manager. If you already completed that form, you will have received an email or a text message from 211 with information on preparing your documents for your next steps. Again, if you've not completed that, Rena can help you out tonight. So come and see us. And the last slide were all the ways that you can contact 211, phone, text, online, and we have cards at the table with all of that information on them. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Monica Nolan, Executive Director, Paradise Ridge Chamber of Commerce. At the Chamber, we are very much focused on preservation, promotion, and progress. We're preserving what we have, promoting what's coming next, and celebrating every single bit of progress that we make. Our Chamber office is open in Paradise at 6161 Clark Road, Dr. Hanish's old building, across from the taco truck. We are partnering with the Paradise Association of Realtors. This arrangement allows us to have extra office space, which we share with community members. If you need a place to open up a laptop, have access to Wi-Fi, and pet some really cute dogs, just come on by 6161 Clark Road or give us a call. All of our information is online at paradisechamber.com. We're also offering business counseling right there in the Chamber, courtesy of the Small Business Development Center. You can make an appointment with them by calling the Chamber or by calling the SBDC. We have information right outside at our pop-up welcome center to your left as you exit this room. We are working on publishing the second edition of our popular collector's edition Ridge Rising Guide. We had not anticipated publishing another one so soon, but because 5,000 copies went out the door very quickly and things have changed so much since June, we decided that it was prudent to get one out in advance of all eyes being upon us on November 8th, and that would be a great service to our community. So if you have ideas for content, if you'd like to purchase an ad, I can help you with that as well. All of our events are on paradisechamber.com. We are on a ribbon cutting grand opening whirlwind. I think we have 2 or 3 this week, tomorrow night, Casa de Paradiso down in Chico. And hope to see you there. And you are also welcome to post your own events on paradisechamber.com, any community events. And just about anything goes. Just click submit an event on the community calendar. Some upcoming events: Johnny Appleseed Days will celebrate its 131st year, oldest harvest festival in California, and we are bringing that from Paradise with Love to the surrounding communities who've taken us in. We are not going to be baking our own pies this year, but we will be giving away 1,000 slices of apple pie as a thank you to those communities. So check that out on paradisechamber.com. If you'd like to purchase a booth, don't wait. They are selling fast. We sold out last year, and registrations are exceeding my expectations at this point. On December 5th, we will have our installation and community awards dinner. Watch for information about that. We are working on what November 8th, 2019 is going to look like. Again, please look at paradisechamber.com events calendar, and anything that you or any organization that you are affiliated with that has something going on, please let us know. Some folks want to just have business as usual. I know that Ace Hardware is going to be having its Christmas preview on November 9th. So please do keep that in mind. Our board of directors is seeking new blood. It's time for us to solicit our 2020 leadership team. So you can contact our president. I'll put you in touch with her if you contact me. And that leads us to our community assets. I just have to close with saying how proud I am of our school district. It's been amazing to see what's going on with that, and also our charter schools. We have school choice in Paradise. We have huge community assets to develop and build on. But walking into Save Mart and seeing kids in Bobcat uniforms felt so good. And I've just got to thank all of, Michelle John in particular, but all of the PUSD staff who moved heaven and earth, who are working as hard as we all are. And that's what it takes right now. So I am just proud to serve with you, and thank you very much.
I think I'll be a much more effective public speaker if I could get my dog to wag his tail. On cue. I'm Dan Efsup. I'm district manager for the Paradise Recreation and Park District. Just to thank Monica and Mark for our grand reopening of our Terry Ash Rec Center last week. You know, it's kind of, all of us have been rolling up our sleeves and doing something, but I have to say, pausing and taking that moment, and we had a great turnout, great environment. And I think it's remarkable that you guys are able to do that on this regular basis. So I think that's real important for us to come out and support organizations that are opening up. Our organization just got done with a strategic planning meeting about 10 days ago. And I think there were a long laundry list that we're going to be rolling out over the next few months and years. But I think a big message for me was that inspiration and just kind of looking forward to doing things for our district and our citizens. So very much looking forward to rolling out these things over the next time period here. One of the major things we are going to work on is our master parks plan that was scheduled to be a 2024 renewal, but it's time to redo that. I know the last thing you folks want to do is do another survey, but we will be having a survey that we're working with Chico State, but we'll have a preliminary one that will come out as well. And just to get some information on not only what we should cover, but kind of what do you folks see as community needs that parks can help with, programs, facilities, and give us a list, a to-do list to work on. One of the programs I wanted to share with you is we have worked with a lot of partners, and things are going to be rolling out. One item that came up is with the Forbay Aquatic Center at Thermalito, Forbay. We've arranged for funding. They're going to have some campfire and paradise days there where residents can come. They'll pay for parking, get out on the water, take a canoe, take a kayak, little pedal boat, get get the kids or grandkids out and just enjoy the one of the resources that are in our area. So keep an eye out for that. Another item I just want to mention is November 7th, we'll be opening up the ice rink. So we're looking forward to having that community amenity, and come on out. Thank you.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Mark Habib. I'm a private attorney from Chico. I was asked to speak briefly about CC&Rs, which many of you have probably heard of. They're covenants, conditions, and restrictions that oftentimes burden land and control how it can be developed, or in this case, perhaps redeveloped. And so basically, CC&Rs are privately created contracts between landowners, and they're usually put into place when a development is put on the books, and it contains oftentimes restrictions on architectural control, building size, nuisances, dogs, growing things, etc. And they're private, they're not public. So the public entities do not enforce CC&Rs typically. They're enforced by virtue of the provisions in the document, and if necessary, by the courts through private actions, not by the government, as opposed to zoning restrictions or enforcement actions that you've heard about by some of the folks here today. So that would be one of the differences. That's really pretty much it. I'm going to be out there if anyone has any specific questions about it, but I understood that some of the townspeople had questions about CC&Rs, and we're going to governmental entities to seek answers about how they operate in that. And they're really a private contract between adjoining landowners that are enforced privately, not publicly. That's it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Agratellis, and I am the Assistant Program Manager for the NorCal Wildfire Assistance Fund. I'm here because I want you to know about it, and I hope many of you do. This fund was created by court order, and Kathy Yanni was appointed as the administrator of the fund. And we've been working hard to get this program up and running. It's similar to the Butte County program. We have two tiers of basic unmet needs payments. One is at the basic level. It's a $5,000 payment for food, water, shelter, rent, and that sort of thing. And we'll eventually have a supplemental need payment that will be made after the program deadline, which is 11/15. But we opened the program 3 weeks ago, and we have, as of today, we have over 5,000 claims in the system, and we actually started making payments last Friday. So we're making payments on a rolling basis, and we're encouraging you to please apply yourself online. We have a website, NorCal Wildfire Assistance Program, and we have a toll-free number that you can call. We also have a Facebook page for updates, and we're building this. It's like building a plane while it's taking off. So we've made we're making improvements the whole time. Our website has frequently asked questions and other documents that will help you understand the program, and you can reach out to us via email or via phone or via me afterward in the back. We have been working with Butte County and the Town of Paradise and 211 and the zone captains, and trying to get our message out via these postcards, which I have a whole gang of out there, and email notices and other social media items. So we really want you to know about us, and we want you to come learn about it and come apply. This is money, this is $100 million that we are getting out as fast as possible to people who are most in need. So if you have any questions, please feel free to come see me afterwards. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diane Brown. I'm the Butte County Assessor. Tonight I want to talk about where we are in our process. We have completed the first stage and the second stage in our calamity process. We've done almost 16,000 corrections to remove the value of the damaged structures from the tax bill. So I'm sure everybody who had a damaged structure got a tax bill that showed a partial structure value on it, because everybody had to pay taxes on their structures from July 1st until October 31st. Well, for this upcoming bill that you'll receive in October, we've removed the rest of the value of the damaged structures, and we also did some adjustments to the land. We didn't do them when we did our calamity adjustments, and we kind of had to wait and get some information. And so altogether, we've removed over $300 million from the land values just in Paradise alone. We've removed over $1.5 billion worth of value just inside the town of Paradise between land value adjustments and the structure adjustments. We did nearly 16,000 corrections. We did them very quickly. We knew we were going to have to sacrifice some accuracy for speed. So far, I'm really proud of my staff. We're running at less than 0.5% error rate. But we know that there might be some out there. So if you want to see what your new value is for next year before you get your bill, you can go to my website. It's on the agenda that you received. The very top line on the text on my website is a link where you can click to see your value notice. And that you can just go in there. It doesn't cost you anything. If you don't have your assessment number or if you have any questions, please feel free to call my staff. They're there to help, and they'll be more than happy to help you. The office number is area code 530, and it's 552-3800, and my staff will help you with that. As far as exemptions go, if you have a homeowner's exemption on your property and you are not currently there because of the disaster, if you plan to return, we will not remove the exemption. The exemption will stay on the property even if you aren't there until you tell us that you are no longer going back. So on their bill, you may show just land value and a homeowner's exemption. That's not wrong, okay? So I'll be in the back if anybody has any questions, but that's basically where we are in this process. We're done, now we just have to wait for you guys to rebuild. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Keaton. I'm the elections manager for Butte County. So there's a couple things I want to go over with you guys. First, that elections are going to be changing in Butte County going forward, not only because of the campfire, but also because of legislation in the state. Before we get to the elections themselves, we need to talk about voter registration. And this is causing some confusion because voter registration has two addresses on it. It can have your residence address, and then there's an optional mailing address. So your residence address cannot be a P.O. box or a business. It has to be your home or your domicile. So domicile is a place that you consider to be your home or intend to return to. So if you had a home in Paradise that burned and you're temporarily living somewhere else but you plan to return, you can maintain your Paradise address on your voter registration and continue to vote on all of those local issues, but you'll receive your ballot wherever you provide your mailing address. So that could be a P.O. box in Chico, it could be a residence in Durham, it could be in Texas. We'll send your information wherever you want it to be sent to. So getting into the changes coming to elections, the first thing is that the presidential primary is going to be in March, not in June. So for California, we're going to be on what is known as Super Tuesday, which is when a lot of the other states have their presidential primary, so it'll put California right in the midst of that, which is pretty exciting. And then the other thing is this Voters' Choice Act. So the Voters' Choice Act was passed a couple years ago, went into effect last year in 2018 with a few select counties, with it rolling out to all counties that want to be a part of it going 2020 and going forward. Starting in 2020, over 50% of California voters will be voting under this new system. So under the Voters' Choice Act, here's what you can expect. The first thing is that every voter is going to receive a vote-by-mail ballot in the mail. Okay? Those ballots are going to be sent out 29 days before the election. So if you're one of the 71% of our voters who already voted by mail, there's not going to be any change for you. But for everybody else, if you're used to voting at a polling place, you will actually get your ballot in the mail. That's not going to be a sample ballot. The other thing is the ballots are going to be coming with the return envelopes, which some of you may be familiar with, but the postage is going to be paid on these. And then I have examples of these in the lobby, but will actually have a signature flap that will cover your signature for some added security when you put it back in the mail. I know a lot of our voters are hesitant to sign the outside of the envelope, but we've taken those concerns into account, and we've actually covered it so that when you seal your envelope, it actually seals your signature within the envelope, so that way it's not just out there in the Postal Service. With those ballots, you can return them in one of three ways. You can return them by mail. Again, you don't need to put a stamp on it. You can drop them off in a ballot drop box, which will be around throughout the county, or you can drop them off at any vote center. Now, the drop boxes are just like what they sound like. It's a ballot drop box, a secure location where you can drop those off. Look a little bit like, one more slide. One more after that one. They look like that. So they're a little bit like mailboxes, basically, but there'll be county staff that will pick those up daily. The other thing, the big change is vote centers. Now, vote centers isn't a fancy new word for polling places. They are different. You won't have your traditional polling places. You will have what they call vote centers. So everybody's going to get their ballot in the mail. You can mail those in. But at a vote center, these are really, a better word for them would be voter assistance locations. So if you mess up your ballot, you didn't receive it, you need to get language assistance, you need to vote on one of our accessible touchscreen machines that you guys may be familiar with. All of the services will be available to you at a vote center, and you can go to any vote center in the county. You're not limited to just your polling place. So if you're living in Chico, you're living in Oroville, you can just go to a vote center there, and they'll still be able to get you your Paradise ballot or your ballot from Concal or wherever it is that you're registered to vote. So again, the list of the resources at the vote centers: you can return a voted ballot, get a replacement, you can update your voter registration, vote on an accessible device, get language assistance, or even register to vote and vote a conditional ballot. Now, that's something that used to only be available in our office in Oroville, but that's going to be available at any of the vote centers throughout the county. And these vote centers are also going to be open starting 10 days before the election. That includes weekends. So you won't have to go in on Tuesday in the afternoon and wait in a line. You can go in the Saturday before, the Wednesday before that, and get all your voting taken care of. So the last slide here is our contact information. Our website is buttevotes.net, or you can give us a call at our office at 552-3400 and push option 1 to check your voter status, register to vote, or just let us know if you have any questions about the new model. Okay, thanks.
Hello, everybody. Jennifer Arbuckle, Northern Recycling. Not much new to report since the last meeting. We're still pushing forward with limited staff and resources. The newest thing, again, is that the recycling center, we were able to, with the help of the county and the town, open it back up at limited hours and days. So it's open on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 2. And also the HHW, the Household Hazardous Waste Facility, is open the first Saturday of every month. So that would be this Saturday from 10 to 2 as well. That the vegetative waste facility is still currently closed. As I told you guys last time, that's a town facility that we operated. But we're just looking for the resources to try and reopen it. So we're both working on that and looking forward to any progress we can make in that area. That's about all that's new for us. Thanks.
Hello, good evening. My name is Jason Manley. I'm with the Butte County Air Quality Management District, and I was here to talk about the air quality on the ridge during the debris cleanup process. Fortunately, there have been minimal impacts to air quality on the ridge, considering the enormous debris removal effort, so that's really good news. You may have seen some air quality monitors around town driving around. The state debris cleanup process, they have had their own community air monitoring, as well as perimeter monitoring around some of the cleanup sites, as well as some additional monitoring at some of the debris handling sites down in the valley in Oroville, as well as down at the near the Neal Road landfill. And the state monitoring plan, they've had community sites set up. One of them is located nearby this facility right here. I'm here to let you know that that you can go to our website, which is not up right now, but feel free to visit me back at the table. I have my laptop set up, and I can show you where you can find real-time air quality data on the ridge, as well as additional air quality data that our air district is collecting, as well as the State Air Resources Board. There are additional permanent air quality monitoring stations here in Paradise that have been monitoring particulates, as well as sensors, some of which we have installed at some of the school facilities. So thanks to the Paradise Public Schools for letting us, for hosting some of our particulate sensors. The state's air monitoring system. They've been monitoring for particulates, and they've also been monitoring for metals and asbestos. And they've had very protective public health thresholds, and those haven't been exceeded at any of their monitors, which is good news. I'll be at the table outside, and I'll also have some information on residential burning for those of you that have questions about burning on your property later on this fall, winter, and spring. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Messina. I'm an assistant chief with CAL FIRE and the town of Paradise fire chief. And I want to explain, we get a lot of questions about CAL FIRE in the town of Paradise, and just briefly want to explain, through a cooperative fire protection agreement, CAL FIRE administratively operates the town of Paradise Fire Department. That we've been doing since 2012. So tonight I speak to you not as necessarily CAL FIRE, but as the town of Paradise essentially employee. Just to clarify that, we get a lot of questions on that. I'm happy to say fire activity statewide, countywide, and within the town is minimal this year, and that is a good thing. But as we know, as the population increases, and until we get some significant rain, that potential is always there. I will say last week that lightning that came through, we were all a little nervous. And again, Wednesday night, which is tomorrow night, through Thursday, we have the potential of some lightning to come through. They say there should be some precip with it, but you know, you can never really count on that. And just so you guys know, when we get into these weather events through the summer, CAL FIRE and the town of Paradise, we take measures to ensure staffing is increased, that we have adequate response resources to mitigate those type of emergencies that may arrive from especially the lightning. Specifically within town, hydrants. There's 1,400 hydrants in the town. And as you know, many of them were damaged in the Camp Fire. We're currently working with PID, and we're assessing those areas that have non-functioning hydrants. And we're identifying those. And those areas that do not have functioning hydrants, we've modified our response to include 2 to 3 water tenders from the county. So for those of you that may not have any functioning hydrant at the end of your cul-de-sac, we're taking measures to make sure that an adequate water supply shows up if we have a fire emergency. Let's talk about weed abatement. And I know that's a pretty popular or not popular topic right now. We've issued almost 400 complaints, or excuse me, I guess you say notices to abate. We've deemed 400 properties a fire hazard in the town. That doesn't seem like a lot. And compared to the 12,000 parcels that are out there, it's not. But it's a step in the right direction. I would expect next year you're going to see us well into the thousands. So that's a good thing for some of you, and probably some of you it's not a great thing when if you're receiving one of those notices. We're working with the property owners on those notices on how to clean your property. While we're not being lenient, as long as there's action moving forward on removing that hazardous materials, we're allowing that, the hazardous vegetation, we're allowing that process to continue on. I will tell you there's a new ordinance in front of the council September 10th, which is going to be a little more aggressive than what we're currently enforcing, and especially in the time frames. That's where we're really going to see some benefits. We will have an expedited time frame of when the town can abate your property to ensure that it happens before the winter. You know, there's no sense of sending a letter out if there's going to be no action to move forward with reducing those fuels. There will also be some enhancements to what's already in the Health and Safety Code, the California Fire Code, which specifically is going to address vacant properties in the town and creating defensible space on those properties for the adjoining properties. And there's some other things on evacuation routes and egress and ingress into out of properties that's going to be addressed in there. But I will tell you, for some of you it's going to be very popular, and for some it's not going to be very popular. But it's a difficult situation, as you guys all know. Soon the grass will come back. It already has. It'll be back a little bit more next year because there'll be a lot of vacant lots that were cleaned will have grass in them now. The brush will come back. The trees will come back. And to ensure that we're not in the same situation as we were on November 7th, we have no choice but to aggressively enforce vegetation management and defensible space around your houses. It's good for you. It's good for the community. to ensure that we're not talking about how the population of the school district went 50% less this year than it was last year. Chamber of Commerce doesn't have to stand here and talk about how we only have, 37 businesses left. We won't be sitting here talking in these community meetings. It's going on throughout California. It's not just Paradise. Hopefully, it's going to be a grassroots effort. It's going to take the community to make sure that we're fire safe. This isn't a government issue. It's a community issue. It's going to take all of us to make sure that we're successful at it. And in closing, so I don't sound all doom and gloom right now, I want to say thank you, you guys. The community has been extremely supportive of the first responders, law enforcement, fire department throughout this, and I can't say anything but great things about how the community has responded to us. Thank you.
All right, let's give a big round of applause to everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. I also want to thank all of you as well for taking the time to show up. It's extremely important. And to everyone as well on Facebook Live. Actually, we have a lot of people tuning in. Quite a few people actually from around the country, so it's lovely to see folks everywhere engaged. Before we move to the question and answer, I wanted to acknowledge our town council. All of them are here in attendance tonight, and so we have Mayor Jody Jones, Vice Mayor Greg Bolin, and we have council members Mike Zuccolillo, Steve Crowder, and Melissa Schuster. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Okay, so Lindsay, we have some questions, and I will hand the mic to whoever is going to answer them.
So our first question is actually from our Facebook live stream. Peggy Schrader is asking, is there or will there be any grant money to help people with standing homes to harden their homes against fire?
Thank you. I'll take a stab at this one. The town of Paradise has an opportunity to apply for some disaster recovery funds, and it's called Hazard Mitigation Program and other funds. So we are going to apply for those funds that will help, from what we understand, any and all homes out there, whether they're standing and damaged or whether they're rebuilding, to apply for some fire-safe materials for their home. Also, there will be housing programs and other grants that the town can apply for to help with the more traditional type of home buyer programs or home rehab programs where they're traditionally for the lower income. I will say, though, that because of the disaster, those income limits have raised. So please note that we're applying for everything we can for our community, for the residents to rebuild.
Okay, so the second question, and actually our last question, is from David Skinner, property owner, and it's for the town of Paradise. What are the survey requirements for having property lines reestablished? Are there funds available to reduce the cost out of pocket, or reduce the out-of-pocket costs for surveys? And I know Susan from the building department's here as well, or we could pass it over to Lauren.
Okay, so the survey, you do need to have your pins certified on your property to reestablish those boundary lines. And right now, at this point, we do not have any formal program to help pay for that. That might be one of those expenses that could be maybe brought to one of the other programs. I don't know, maybe the Butte Strong Fund. I don't know if the program that David spoke about earlier would cover those costs, but maybe the cost of the surveys could be recoverable.
That's all of our questions.
Wow, okay. So we will also get the answers to all these questions, post them on the makeitparadise.org website under the frequently asked questions section. We'd also like to remind everyone to please visit that website for all things rebuild. You'll find guides, checklists, and all sorts of information there. Thank you all for coming. In the back, if you give a few moments, the folks here will make their way to the tables, and feel free to ask questions. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.